Recording is on.
All right, good. Yes, that's correct.
The
So
recording
for
is
those
now
that
on. You can now.
did not join, all right, good. For those that didn't join yesterday, let me just quickly go ahead to share my screen and give you a quick overview again of where I am. Right. So let me share my screen. Let me know once you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, just give a thumbs up in the chat. All right, can you guys see my screen now? Good. All right. So again, let me quickly introduce myself. For those that are just joining us, I didn't join yesterday. Again, my name is Eniola David Ademola. Right. I'm a data scientist, an open source contributor, and also a front end engineer. Right. So I said you would see me walking around. You see me walking around data science, front end, React, Next.js, Python mostly, and the likes, right? And this is my past, right? We've trained thousands of people. We've helped them land their dream job over the world, right? Yes, you can see I've also met with a lot of amazing people like you guys, train them, they landed that dream job. And yeah, my mission is to actually build innovative products, right? Help millions, if not billions of people also to become a better version of themselves in the tech industry. And how do I do that? By what I'm doing right now. Right. Very good. So let's quickly go back to what we did yesterday, right? This is we are currently in day 2, right? So yes, today we're going to be talking about Python for AI automation. But quickly, let's do a recap of what we treated yesterday. I know Odongon is saying in the chat that we learned about workflow automation and no code tools. Yes, very good. That's what we learned about yesterday. So let me go ahead to just turn off my camera so that you guys can focus more on the slide. Yep. So we learned about that. We learned about how to use Zapier. We learned about how to create our own forms, right? Google Forms, then connect it to Zapier. Also, for those of you that registered, thank you very much. Even though you were giving feedback of my restaurant that is yet to be built. So most of you guys, Justice, the Raphael, thank you. And there was a confirmation that you were able to see that automation that whenever you submit a feedback from on the Google form, you see that email automatically sent to you, just like a thank you email, right? So we're able to do that yesterday. And if you have not watched the recording, please do well to watch the recording. We basically learned about trigger actions. We learned about how you can also use some Zapier templates. We learned about Zaps, which is basically you creating automations. So if you've not gone through the lecture that we did, just go back to the recordings. It's somewhere around in the Discord channel. I know Aisha is also going to share it with you. If you need it, just go ahead to also ask. And you can see it's turned on right now. So anybody that fills that form, they are going to basically get the feedback, right? I know someone was asking me about the link for the form. Let me just go ahead to see if I can give you guys quickly. Right. Let me just copy the not responding link. Save accepting response. Let me see if I can just copy the link. Sorry, this is here. Copy respondent link. Let's see. So I'm going to post it on the Discord channel for you guys in case you guys want to test it out anytime. And I know some of you guys also created your own automation tool, which is actually nice. So quickly, let me just get from you guys. Was anyone able to create their own personal automation tool and it worked for them? If you were able to do so, kindly drop it in the chat, please. If you're able to create your own automation tool and it worked for you, kindly drop it in the chat. Or you were able to just play around with it, do one or twos. Let me know in the comment section or in the chat. Okay, Ginka is dropping his own, right? So let's play around with what Ginka did, right? Ginka, is this your own automation tool that you created? Oh, we call
Yeah,
it
yeah.
own fast flash deliveries. Wow, nice. So let's go ahead to try this out. I'm going to use my email. I'm going to say my name is Dave Ward, right? My email, I'll put my email here. Theory quickly, and I'm going to put what you use our service again. What do you use our service again? I don't really get this, but I'm just going to say testing. One, two. But before I send this mail, Gakinya, can you quickly explain to me what you did?
So I connected the Google form to email automatic, whatever that thing for sending the automatic email using Zapier. So once you fill the form and hit submit, the a feedback will be sent to your email. Yeah.
Okay, let's try it out then. Click on submit. Okay, waiting for me to receive that email. And this really makes sense, Gakanya, because Gakinya, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrongly. Okay, I got the email. Very good. So it really makes sense because it shows that you basically um, understood what you did. But Ganinya, I'm seeing that you're using my same template. You should have updated this template because I just did this like 0 minutes ago, you can see. So you should have used my own use your own template instead. But I mean, you did a great work. Well done. Well done on that. I can see from Peter Manda. So well done on that end, actually. But if you are also confused about the template to use, you can just go to ChatGPT, tell it to give you a template, and you'll be good to go. All right. So that's basically what we're able to cover yesterday, and I am very sure that you guys really learned a lot from that. Again, if you missed out on any part in the lecture, just go back to watch that recording. It's always there for you to basically recap in case you need help on anything. And if you also have questions, drop it in the Discord channel. I mean, we have amazing people that are there, always active to answer you whenever you need help, right? So today we're going to be talking about um, Python. Like I said before, I'm going to be talking about Python for AI automation, right? And one thing I really want to be sincere with you guys about is we know that Zapier can actually move data between applications, right? Example is what Gakinia did. You saw that we are able to basically send data from our Google form, track it, and make sure that the response is sent to the person email once the person submits a response, right? So we know that Zapier can do that already. We are very sure about that, right? But there are some limitations to Zapier, right? Because basically, what Zapier is doing is they are allowing you to use the custom tools that they have built for you, right? So you can't say you want to build your own from scratch or you want to do something very unique. It's almost or likely impossible for you to do that, right? But when we have Python, with Python, if you're using Python, right, Python can basically automate anything that even Zapier can't do, right? So quickly in the chat, I want you guys to tell me if you are familiar with using Python programming language. Has anybody heard of Python before? If you have, and you are advanced, write advanced. If you're intermediate, write intermediate. If you're a beginner, write beginner in the chat. Let me see our Python developers here. But if you have not used Python before, you've not heard of Python before, just drop it in the chat also. Or just say I'm new. If you're a beginner, write beginner. If you're an intermediate, write intermediate, or if you're an advanced Python developer, also just write advanced. So let me see our Python devs in the house. All right, I'm waiting for you guys. Oh, beginner, we have beginner. That's all right. New, new to Python. All right, very good. Um, okay, good, good. We have beginner, we have new. We have Python developer intermediate. All right, Peter Manda, intermediate. Very, very good. I love that. Love that. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, we have intermediate, beginner, and we have people that are also new. All right, no issues. That is totally fine. Just make sure that you pay attention very well to what we're going to be doing today, right? So quickly, what we're going to do first is we're going to do a quick Python refresher, right? Trust me, you can't learn the whole Python programming language today, but I'm just going to give you a quick refresher of what Python programming language is, the syntax and the likes. You also have Steve. He says he's an intermediate. Very good. After Python refresher course, we're going to talk about LLMs. If you don't know what LLMs are, don't worry, you're going to know what it is. I'm sure you've used LLM before. You know what? Quickly, let me just do a quick survey. If you have used LLM before in the chat, drop yes. If you have not used anything like LLM before, drop no. Let me see. Okay, we have yes. Very good. Very good. I want you guys to be very, very active. Oh, somebody is saying no. Yes. I like Raphael. He said, ChatGPT. Very good, right? So, most of us would have used LLM before, but we might not really know that it is. That is it, rather, right? So, Gakinia, kindly confirm, have you used ChatGPT before? ChatGPT, have you used Claude? Have you used DeepSeek? Have you used any of that before, Gakinia? So if you have used that, just drop it in the chat. Let me see. Right. So yeah, after we talk about LLM briefly, we're going to move on into with working with document loaders and text splitters. Right. The reason is because you need to just understand the basics of how to use these document loaders and text splitters, especially if you'll be working with RAG applications. Right. So we're just going to do a very very simple examples. I'll show you about Oh, Kakinya is saying, yeah, thought you meant implementing one in Python, but no issues, right? So yeah, I'm going to teach you guys about document loaders and text splitter, which is the foundation of building RAG applications, right? If you don't know what RAG applications are, it's retrieval augmented generations, and so let me just go ahead to explain very well with you guys so that you guys will know follow along with me, right? So when we talk about building RAG applications, right, it's very very important, especially when you're dealing with huge RAG application systems, right? So document loaders, text splitters is very, very important. We have different way of loading documents. So for example, if you are working on a project that has to deal with text, there's a way you load text. If you're working with PDF, we have libraries for that also by PDF and the likes. There's a way you actually use all of those, right? Also, when it comes to text splitter, right, we have different text splitter, right? We have the recursive character text splitter. We have the what else again? We have the character text splitter. That's if you are splitting based on just characters, right? We also have the HTML text splitter, right? We also have the recursive JSON splitter. So we have like different kind of splitters when it comes to text splitters, right? So we'll just learn the basics. And the reason why we need to know this is when you want to build a RAG application and you want to train your LLM, you want to make your LLM understand based off of your context. So for example, if you want to train a chatbot to actually understand your CV, right? You can't just give it everything like that, right? In the real sense, you are supposed to take your documents, break it down into chunks, right? Then give it to your large language models to basically understand it. So there are steps to it, and I'll explain everything. So we have the data ingestion, which is where you load your documents, right? We have the data transformation, where you do your character text splitters, where you vectorize your database, turn it into zeros and one. Then we also have the part where you save it in a database in a vector DB. We have Chroma DB, we have FIAS. There are a lot of them out there, right? So these are the process that you actually need to build a fully RAG application system. And I'm going to explain to you everything one by one. If you are new, don't worry. Just make sure that you pay attention, you are not distracted, and follow me step by step. Also, if you have idea about building chatbot or building LLMs, trust me, you're going to gain something very very insightful, because I'm going to be giving you tips that I've used to build like scalable applications for companies and is used out there right now. All right. And after that, we're going to build our own first AI chatbots, right? Talking about AI chatbots, we're going to build something very simple where you can just go ahead to pick the type of provider you want to use. So we have Grok, right? Not Grok with the K right now. We have Grok with the Q, GROQ. And we also have OpenAI, right? This lesson was actually focused on OpenAI only, knowing how to use OpenAI. But because of you guys, I'm going to be giving you a very, very huge bonus. I'm going to teach you how to use other platform like Grok. So we're going to be using Llama, right, by Facebook. We're going to use that also. So I'm going to be giving you like tips. So just make sure you pay attention very well to today's lesson because you're going to be learning a lot, right? And if you have friends that have not joined us too, make sure you send them a message for them to join in right now. All right, so we're going to build our own first chatbot. And talking about our first chatbot, how is it going to look like? This is how it's going to look like. Something very simple, very minimalistic, and you see how we can use something that's called Streamlit to actually build something very simple like this, right? You can see we have the OpenAI, which is the model provider, which we can toggle on. We can pick between Grok, we can pick between um, OpenAI, right? Then we put in our OpenAI API key. Now, note that OpenAI is actually paid for, right? And that's why I'm going to teach you how to use a paid model and how to use something that is also free, which is Grok. Grok is free for everyone, right? And I'm talking about Grok with the Q again, not with the K, because Grok with the K is for Elon Musk, right? We know that, and it's paid for also. So these are the interesting things that you're going to be learning today, and I want you to actually pay very good attention, right? So now, since we already know what we're going to be learning, let's go ahead to actually start our Python refresher course, right? So if you have not yet gone through this material, I mentioned it yesterday. So I want you to head over to github.com. So I'm going to control click on this, right? So I'm going to paste the link right now in the Discord channel, and I'm also going to paste it here in the chat, right? You can start this repository. You can see this particular repo has like a lot of stars. You can start it too because people right here have seen that it's very, very useful, especially for beginners that want to basically do a quick refresher course, right? And it's documented, right? If you go into each of these particular section, like the basics, and if you try to go to the basics 1.0, you would see that everything is documented, and there's also comments there. You can see it's telling you the outline, basically what we're going to do, definition of syntax and semantics. And trust me, I've also been building on this particular repo, so it's very, very good for beginners, especially if you want to do like a quick refresher and basically understand what Python is also about. So I would advise you guys to check it out. So yeah, so let's just continue. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to open our VS Code, right? If you don't know what VS Code is, basically VS Code is a tool that we use for writing code, basically, right? And if you are new to it and you don't have VS Code, what you can do is just to head over to download VS Code, right? So just head over to download VS Code. You will see a link right here. If you are using Mac, obviously download Mac. If you are using PC or whatsoever, make sure you download that also. All right. So it's pretty much simple and straightforward. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create a new folder, right? So basically, everything I'm doing right here, I'm going to be mentioning it for you as I'm doing it along so that you understand it if you are new to it, right? So now if you want to make a new folder, if you want to create a new folder, you use the command mkdir. So mkdir means make a new folder. And for this folder, I'm going to name it AI-automation, right? Now a new folder, very good. So right now I'm going to check out to that folder. I'm going to change my directory to that folder, right? CD, and I'm going to change it to AI automation. Now you can actually name your folder or create your folder the normal way you do it in your PC. You can create folder and open it with VS Code like that. For me, I just like doing my own in my command line because it's very, very fast and simple. And whatever I'm doing, I'm going to be saying it again so that you can follow along. Again, if there's any aspect that you find that I'm taking it too fast or you don't really understand, just do well to draw my attention, right? Just draw my attention to it, and we are going to be good to go. So I can't zoom in more than this actually. Just try to zoom in your screen. You're going to see it, right? So to clear my screen, I can do CLEAR. So CLEAR is going to clear my screen, right? And I can open it with VS Code. To open it with VS Code, all I have to do is to do CODE code space dot, and it's going to go ahead to open this in my VS Code, right? And that's one of the important things of learning how to use command line if you're a developer, right? I'm going to widen up the screen, right? Now, trust me, you're going to be learning a lot here. And why do I say so? Because I'm going to be giving you some tips that you won't be told on how to use normally, right? But just make sure to pay attention and follow along. Please and please pay attention and follow along. Peter, I hope you can see my screen right now. So again, for this Python refresher course, everything that we're going to be using is right here. So you don't need to stress yourself or copy what I'm doing exactly. You can code along with me if you want to, but the full if you need the full material, again, just go to the link right there. You can start it so that whenever you want to use it next time, just come here. Once you come here, click on star, right? Just click on star, or you can fork it to have it in your own GitHub. So you just come here and start it. Once you start it, you'll be good to go, right? Also, if I make updates to this particular repository, if you want to know about it, just go to my repo to my profile, right? You can see my profile right here. Go to my profile, then you can just give me a follow. Once you follow me, if I make updates to that new to this particular Python refresher course, you're going to see it, right? So with that being said, let's continue. And right here, I'm going to create a new file, right? I'm going to create a new folder rather. I'm just going to name it Python refresher course, or just name it Python refresher basically, right? And what we're going to be doing right here is very simple. So I'm going to do a refresher dot ipynb. Now we're going to be using a ipynb. Now, what does this mean? It means it's a Jupyter notebook, basically, right? So basically, what ipynb means is it means a ipykernel notebook, right? Or a ipython notebook. And what this allows you to do is instead of you writing your code like this, so normally you will have something like refresher.py, right? So instead of you writing your code like this, then if let's say you want to print hello world, you can do print hello world, right? And when you want to run your file, you have to open your terminal, right? New terminal. And to run this file, what you need to do, so I'm going to do clear. I'll just say Python, and I'll say Python run refresher, then refresher.py. And you can see I have my output here, hello world, right? But this is stressful because whenever I want to run my Python code, I have to keep opening my command line and running this every time, right? But with ipykernel notebook, what happens is I'm going to just go ahead to delete this. With ipykernel notebook, what happens is you can actually go ahead to run your code. Yeah, so just click on new code, and if I want to run a code, I'll just put print, right? I'll put print hello world. Now I have to select a kernel first if I run this code. So if you don't know what kernel is, it's just an environment where you can get to run your Python code. I'm just going to pick just a random environment right now. I can pick this Python base, right? And I run this code. If I run this code, I'm going to get my output very soon. So just wait for it to load. Once it's run, you're going to see my output right here. And the reason why this is better is because should in case you are sorry. So the reason why it's better is because should in case you want to write notes, just like how we have it here, right? So if I come back here, so you can see this is a detailed content, right? You can check out how to use Git or how to use this thing. The link is right there. So the reason why it's better is because I can write notes, for example. So for example, if I want to write a note, I can just put a to create a new line above. If I want to write a note right here, I can change this from a code cell, right? I can change it to a markdown cell. And how do I do that? I'm just going to do change to markdown cell. And to do that, you're just going to come here, um, change cell to markdown. You can see this. Now, once you change cell to markdown, it means that you can go ahead to write your code inside this markdown cell. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to say um, Ash. So Ash means Edin one. Maxwell, please, I want you to unmute your mic. I'm sorry, mute your mic rather. I can turn off your video. Maxwell Juma. Oh, okay, very good. So yeah, I can say Python refresher course. a Python refresher course, right? And if I run it, you see that now I now have like a note right here. So that's one of the beautiful thing of Jupyter Notebook. If you don't know what it is, just search for Anaconda, right? Anaconda download, and you'll be good to go, right? If you also want a detailed video on how to install Anaconda and set it up, right? I also have a video that I can share with you. So let me just get that video quickly for those of you that want to learn how to set up Anaconda, right? Um, right. So give me 1 sec. Let me bring that up quickly for you guys. And one of the beautiful things is you just get to just write your notes inside your code base itself instead of you writing long comments and the likes, right? So for those of you that want to learn how to basically install Anaconda, right? Just head over to this video that I'm going to be sharing with you. So I'm going to put it right down in the chat and also in the Discord channel so that for you that want to set it up, if you want a step-by-step tutorial on how to set it up, then you'll be good to go. Just give me 1 sec, it's coming up. All right, so I've put it already in the chat or in the Discord channel. So if you want that, it's Python, how to set up and install Anaconda, right? So you have that already in the chat. So let me, yes. So you have that already in the chat. You can just go ahead to watch it if you want to know how to set it up. All right, so now let's continue. So I'm going to quickly rush to refresher course because you just need to understand the basics. Nothing really that complicated. If you want to take a full Python course, please go ahead to do so. It's very, very important for you if you are new to Python programming, right? But basically, let's talk about the basics, right? So first is we know we have variables, right? So if I have a variable name like name is equals to Eniola, right? So or let me just use my name, David, right? If I say name is equals to David and I want to print out my name, I can just type name or just write print into brackets name, right? Control Z, and I can just put shift enter. Right, once I put shift enter, so let me close this so that you guys don't get too confused. And so once I put shift enter, you'll see that I have my name right here, David. And if I also want to print like text with my name, basically I can do something like use it in f strings, right? All right, I can put it in f strings, and all I have to do right here is I can say print into parentheses, and I'm going to put f here. Now this f string means that I can actually put in variables inside this place, right? So I can say print my name and is, and anytime I want to put in a variable name, I just put in this name right here, and I'll say I'm learning Python, or I am refreshing my Python skills. Very good, right? So when I run this cell, you can see I have my output right here. So that's just variables. I know most of you guys will have been already used to all of this, so no issues. We also have numbers, right? You can do simple mathematics, 1 plus 1. You have that. Don't forget again, you don't need to cram everything. Everything that I'm teaching you right here, you can see is in number 1 basics. So just go through this, start the repository also, so that when I make updates, you're going to see those updates, right? So everything I'm doing right here, you can see 1 plus 1, you can see my name, Dave Ward. So everything I'm doing right here is in this repository, right? So I've structured this for you guys, follow along. So yeah, so we also have numbers. We can do multiplication. You can do 2 times 4, for example. We're going to get our output 8, right? So you can do simple mathematics, right? We also have like division. You can do division. Let's say you want to do like 3 divided by 2. You get your output also, and sort of the nature, right? We also have variable assignments, which I've talked about earlier on. So we also have variable assignments, right? Assignments, right? And I can turn this quickly to a markdown cell by hitting escape on my keyboard, then pressing M, right? So it turns to a note, and I can create a new cell below by typing the command B in my cell to create a new cell below. And for variable assignment, I can say, for example, a is equals to 5, um, 5. I can say print a, and you see that here we have what our a is 5, right? We also have all the like you can put first number, right? So just a first norm is equals to 5, and um we have second norm is equals to 6, right? And we can create a sum, and we say our sum is equals to first number plus second number, and we go ahead to print out the sum. And you see we have our output right here, 11. All right. Are you guys following me? If you are following me, kindly drop a yes in the chat. All right, very good, right then. So that's that about basics. You can just go ahead to continue reading the documentation or the repo that I sent to you. You'll be good to go, right? We also have strings, right? Strings formatting, which I already talked about, right? So, for example, if I have like a name, so let me come back and just do a quick example for you. So I can also have my variable name. Let's say my name is equals to, or let me just put my email is equals to, and I'll put daveword at Gmail. My copilot is always helping me to wrap up my tasks. But yeah, so let's say I have an email, daveword is equals to daveword@gmail.com, and I print out my email. And for example, I'm told to use like a built-in method, right? So let's talk about a built-in method right now, right? So a built-in method to basically find the email domain, right? So for example, if they ask you, okay, how can I know the domain that was being assigned to this particular variable name, right? We can do something like splitting it by @, right? So if I say email.split, right, by @, and I want to return the domain name. How do I know the domain name? The domain name is what gmail.com, but you need to also understand that when you're using .split method, it returns a list, right? So if I want to grab hold of this Gmail account, so I can just do split, and there's a way we index our variable by just writing the index number right here. So variable counting start from 0 up to 1 and the likes, right? So if I run this, it's obviously going to return my gmail.com, right? So these are some cool methods and input methods that Python also have. Please do well to follow up along and read up this documentation. And now let's go on to operators, right? So operators are basically how you can perform operations also in Python. And I already explained some of this for you guys, right? We have the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor, modulus, exponent, and the likes, right? And we have comparison operator. I also created it like a table. So if you want to read more about this, you can go ahead to read more about this, right? So we have the plus, the division, right? It's actually pretty much straightforward because Python is a very simple language that was built for everyone to understand very well, right? So you can go along with this, read more about this, and trust me, you're going to be good to go, right? Next on our list, so let me see if there's something that I need to understand. Yes, logical operators also, right? So for example, if we have something like number is equals to, or let's just use our variable name that I created before, first number and second number. So let's say we want to find the biggest number, right? So we can have something like first number is it greater than second number. It's going to return true or false. Now, if returning false, a Boolean output, because why? Obviously, our first number is what 5, and our second number is what 6. And obviously, first number is not greater than second number, so it's going to return what false, right? But if I say first number is less than second number, we're going to put what true right there. So this is a comparison operator also that you need to also understand, right? So the next one I'll be jumping to right now is I'll just be going straight forward to what control flow, right? And I'll make this a markdown so you guys can know that this is what we're doing right now. So basically, when it comes to control flow, let me just go back to the documentation. So when it comes to control flow right here, um, We have conditional statements, if statements, else statements, elif, nested, and the likes, right? So, for example, if you want to use like age is equals to 10, then if age is greater than 10, print, you can attend sale onboarding. So let's do something quickly. Let's say that let's write so the task is to write a program that allows that check if a user is eligible to attend the one dev class. And the requirement is what? The requirement was what? 18 years plus, right? So you can press Alt Tab to basically collapse your text. And yeah, how do we do this? See, my AI agent is already giving me the answer, but I will not agree. So we can just say our age, just like we have here right here. So let me just explain to you guys what's going on right here. So basically what happens is we're using an if statement to check, okay, if age, now this age, you can actually collect it from the user. You know what? Let's prompt the user to enter his age, right? I'm going to put int, I'm going to say input, and I'll say enter your age, right? The reason why I'm putting int is because if you're using the normal input, it's going to give you in a string, right? But we need to turn it into an integer for us to get the output. So these things are just basic things that you should know if you are already good with Python, right? So for example, you do not say if the age is greater than 18, then print you are eligible to attend the one dev class. Else, print you are not eligible to attend the one dev class. So let's go ahead to run this. So it prompts me to enter my age. So if I say I am, let's say 12 years old, it will tell me you are not eligible to attend the one dev class. But if I run this again and I put in something like 19, it will still going to tell me you are eligible to attend the one dev class. And it's very, very important to understand how if statement works. The reason is because if you are working, if we start working with checking if a particular logic is true or false, maybe when the user does not input his or her API key when you want to build up, when we are building our chatbots, we're going to be using if else statements. We also have something that is called elif, right? So I also have if, so let me just say if elif and else example, right? And so, for example, we can have something like this, right? So, for example, we're asking the person for the age, and we're saying that if the person is greater than 18, say you are not eligible to attend the one dev class. If it's greater than equals to 16, you are not eligible to attend the one dev class, but you need to be accomplished by an adult, right? But if it's less than 16, obviously, then we're not going to say anything. So what this elif does is it's just saying that, okay, in case the person age is greater than or equals to 16, but this is going to be clashing right here. But we'll just say if the percentage is equals to 16. So we're just going to check if the percentage equals to 16. And if it's equals to 16, then we'll just say you are eligible to attend the one dev class, but you need to be accomplished by an adult. All right. So let's run this code. So, and let's put 16 right here. You see now it now tells us that you need to be accomplished by an adult. And also, you can also use the or statement, right, to say, okay, or in case the user is equals to 17 also prints this, because currently, if I run this code and I put 17, it's going to tell me we are not eligible to attend the one dev class. Why? Because it's falling under this condition that 17 is not greater than 18. But that does not really make sense, because if we're saying age 16 can attend and they have to take permission, then that means age 17 should also be able to attend. And that's why we can put all right here to basically run this. So if I put 17 also, then it should tell me that you are eligible to attend the one dev class, but you need to be accomplished by an adult, right? And basically, when it comes to the all statement, we also have just and all are the basic ones that you need to basically understand. So once you can understand that, you are going to be good to go, right? So the next one that we'll just be running through quickly is to be running through loops, right? And again, trust me, if you do not really understand Python very well, you might need to actually take some courses or basically go through the repo very well to understand it. But if you are familiar with Python, you would understand what I'm saying. So, for example, I have my name right here. You remember, my name is Dave Ward. And if I want to print out my name is Dave Ward like 10 times, I would have to say print my name I'll use f string right here. I'll say f, and I'll say my name is, and I'll put a word. Yeah. So if I want to print this out 10 times, I'll have to copy and paste 10 times, right? I'll say paste, paste. I have to start counting again, right? Um, right? And I'm going to print it 10 times, but this does not make sense. And that's why loop was introduced, right? So what is loop basically? Loop is just like a function that just allows you to write repetitive tasks instead of you doing it manually. So for this, instead of me doing all of this, I can just use something that is called a for loop, and I can just say for. So this is the syntax. You have for I in, I will put range, a range, and we can put the range that we want to talk to. We can say from 0 to 10, right? And we'll just say from, if its I is between 1 to 10, then just print out my name is Dave Ward and I am refreshing my Python skills, right? And basically what will happen is to start from 0 up to 9, right? How do I know that? We can also put in something that is called I here to just know the value that is printing, right? So you can see it starts from 0 but up to 9. So that's what range does. Range won't take the last number. You just take 0 to -1. And if you want to know what a particular function does, just go over to the tab, to this place. Inside the bracket of the function, hit Shift Tab, right? Or just over on the range. You're going to see what it does. You can see start, stop, right? Step. You can also specify step, right? So one of the interesting parts is if you want to, so you can see the last one will be what, j-1. And if you want to specify a step, you can say, okay, from 0 to 10, jump by 2. And you start seeing, so it's showing 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, right? So that's that about that. You can play around with it. It's basically something that is actually simple and straightforward, right? So next thing that we need to cover also is just data structures. So the data structures, we have lists, we have dictionaries, we have tuples, and these are ways you can actually just store data, right? So remember, for example, I told you that for us to actually in access the items in a list, we use the index number. So let's create a list. So let's just create a list, data, escape M, escape B, right? So let's say we have my list is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 5, 4, 5. I want to print out the number. I mean, no, but let me just see something else instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you don't get confused. If I say um apple, banana, cherry, and I want to print out banana, for example, right? I have to say my underscore list, and I will say print out what, index 0. Now index 0 is going to be this first one right here, because when you're using a list, you don't start with 1, right? Your index start from 0. So in programming language, you start from 0, so that's 0, 1, 2, right? So you can see right here we have banana. So can somebody tell me, if I want to print out cherry, what number am I going to pass in into this my list from the chart? If I want to print out cherry, what number am I going to pass in? Okay, someone is saying 2. Is it correct? Someone is saying 2, someone is saying -1, someone is saying 1. Which one should I go with? So if you are sure of yourself, somebody is saying 0. So if you are sure of yourself, raise your hand so that I can give you the floor to talk. All right, we still have zeros. We have 2. Okay. Gakinya, go ahead to speak. Yeah, Gakinya, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I think -1 can also work because cherry is the last item in the list, and -1 usually works for items that are last in the list. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Any other opinion? Josiah, you're saying two. Kindly go ahead to pack up your answer, please. Why did you pick two? Josiah, are you there? Okay, if Joshua is not there, let's go with Maxwell. Juma, are you there? Why did you pick two, please?
Yes, hello. I've
Yeah.
picked two because you've said that we start from zero, so it's 0, 1, 2. That's our picked two.
All right, very good. Actually, it's very simple and straightforward, right? Zero, one, and two. So the answer is going to be what? Two, right? But now I want to play a very tricky game with you guys, and anybody that can get it, I would give you something. So I talked about operators, right? But I didn't mention that something that is called modulus. So does anyone know what modulus is? Right? Modulus basically means remainder in Python. So for example, if I have something like um 5 modulus 6, if I run this code, what is going to be my output? All right, Maxwell, go ahead.
So the remainder is going to be 1 because you said the modulus means the remainder.
Hmm, 1. All right, 1. Okay, very good. Let's test it out. So I run this, and yeah, we are getting 5. Why? Someone said 5. Shmel said 5. Why? Why did you pick 5? So actually, Shmel is correct, right? And the reason is because it's taking the remainder. Now, Maxwell, don't get confused, right? What this means is equivalent to saying that we have 5 divided by 6, right? And how many 5? How many 6? Um, how many 6 can you see in 5? That's what it means. So it's saying 5/6 is what? 0 remainder 5. Because if you say we want to take away 6 from 5, it's not possible. So we're going to have what? 0 remainder 5. Do you understand? So it's quite tricky sometimes. That's why you need to actually stay focused, right? So if I say 13 modulus 3, what is going to be my output, guys? 13 modulus 3. Anyone? Someone is saying 3. 1. Very good, right? Okay. Lastly, if we have something like let me try to convince you guys. So if I have 9 modulus 13, what's going to be my answer? 9 modulus 13. Zero remainder like 9. It's very simple for you guys right now, Abi. Very good. So yeah, so that's that about that, right? So we also have dictionaries. You can read up on dictionaries if you want to, but the last one I would like to cover is functions because we still have a lot to cover. So what are functions, right? So let's go ahead to functions right now. And what are functions basically? Functions are just some sorry. So functions are just reusable block of code that get executed whenever you run them, right? And don't forget, if you want to read more on this, right, just come here, go to functions and the likes, right? So let's look at an example on how to create a function. If you want to create a function in Python, there are some certain keywords that you need to know, right? Which is you have to start using your keyword by typing what dev, right? And the reason why we really need function is because there are some scenarios whereby we want to create some codes that are reusable that I want to use over and over again. And instead of us having those long codes, right, we can actually just put them inside a basket. And whenever we want to use them, we just go into that basket and pick them, right? So now let's say we want to create a function to say, hello, welcome to One Dev Academy, right? So we can say hello, and right here, you put a semicolon right here, and we'll just say print. I will say welcome to One Dev Academy, right? And now, don't forget, functions will only get executed whenever you call them, right? It will only get executed whenever you call them. So if you want to call this function right now, we can just say hello. And once we call them, we're going to have our output, welcome to One Dev Academy. Now, the something that you should also take note of is that function can also take in parameters. So for example, if we have dev addition, let's say we want to add two numbers together, right? A plus B and return the output. We can now call it, that's addition, and passing parameters 5 and 6, and we get our output. All right. So pretty much that's that about Python refresher course. If you guys want to read more about it, just come here, look at function practice. It's also exercise that I put in right here for you if you want to test this out. Question 1, question 2, and question 3. So try to solve it. If you can get this by yourself without actually using any AI tool, just by yourself, and you want to check out the output, you can just come here to check out this practice solution. But don't check out this practice solution if you have not attempted this practice only. All right. So that's that about function. We also have modules, we have file handling, but we can't cover everything right now because we're just doing a quick refresher course and we still have a lot going on. So does anyone have any question before I continue? Any question? Okay, if no question, then let's continue with our slide, right? So we've talked about Python refresher course, which you guys will still go ahead to practice more. But let's talk about something very interesting that you should know about, which is LLM. So before I continue, can anyone tell me what they understand by what LLM means? What is LLM? Does anybody want to go ahead? All right, so let me call names. I know someone said he has heard about LLM before. So Peter, are you there? Peter, kindly unmute the mic and tell us what you understand by LLM.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, so my understanding is it stands for large language model. So basically, an example would be me downloading one of the Llama models on my PC and then interacting with it offline, something like that.
All right, very good. Raphael, are you there? Or Rafali John? Sorry, I'm not pronouncing your name very well. John, are you there? Okay, if John is not there, very good. So with what Peter said, I'm very sure he's very familiar with it, with what he said. But yeah, LLMs are basically, like you said, it's known as large language model, and you need to know that they are sophisticated AI models that have been trained on vast amounts of textual data to understand and generate human-like language. Remember in our previous class, what I mentioned before was, okay, someone is saying they are large language model um, that can reason like human. But that's very correct also. So remember, like I said in our previous class, that uh, basically the way the world has improved is we can now go ahead to communicate with chatbots by using our voice, images, video. We can generate images, we can generate video. I mean, you can pass in images to large language model, and now they now understand what that image is about, and they can describe it for you, right? So examples of large language models out there is like ChatGPT uses large language model. Um, that's why we have different models. We have GPT-4, we have GPT-5, we have GPT-5 codex, and so on and so forth, right? And you need to also understand that they are capable of performing tasks such as like text generation, translation, summarization, even complex problem solving. They are very much capable of doing all of this. And also, you need to also take key note that they are basically models, and they are type of deep learning models that is trained on a massive amount of text data, right? And it is generally trained on data that can be found online, from web scraping to books, transcripts, anything text based, right? They can actually do any of this, and it's very important to take note of this because I don't know if you guys have seen the news about some of those companies out there using our data to train the large language model, and that's why you should be very very careful about the models that you use out there. Remember when DeepSeek came out, they announced that whatever data you are using on DeepSeek is going to be basically used to train that data. So that's why you need to be also very careful of putting out sensitive information out there when you are using a chatbot, right? Because your data are going to be trained to build even more better and complex models, right? And that's why some developers prefer to go to Olama. I don't know if you guys know what Olama is. So Olama is like a platform where you can see models that you can download and use them locally, right? I also have some platform that I have right here. Let me just show you guys. I have something that is called um, LM Studio, right? So what this platform or anything LM, what they do for me is basically they allow me to basically download any model locally. So you can download from Mac and whatsoever. You can see we have models right here too. So you have GPT OS, Quen, we have DeepSeek, Quen 3 Coda, Gamma 3, GLM, embedding, and the likes, right? So you can basically download all of these particular models and use them on your local system instead of you using the online version, right? But it depends on your choice also. All right. So these are the key things that you need to take note of, right? Also, they are very good at summarization. They are very good at text generation. They are very good at creative writing. I mean, it's not any longer a news that you can use most of this as all as writing, as research, coding. Also, you can see when I'm coding, I have some completion with me. So if I say print, for example, you'll see that I have like a completion automatically that pops up. And that's the work of Copilot, which uses LLM at the back end, right? Now let's talk about prompt engineering. That's very, very important, right? Because we're going to be doing a little bit of prompt engineering in today's chat that we're going to be building. So you can see we have using an LLM out of the box, right? Which is when you just go to your normal ChatGPT or Gemini or whatsoever, and you just basically type your question right, and it passes to the model, which makes sense, but um, to some ways it has its limitations. You can't really pick the models that you want to use. You basically use the default model that ChatGPT is giving you, and it's also very easy to use actually, right? And the other way that we can do it is going out the less easier way by using OpenAI API. And like I explained before, what API is, API is application programming interface, which I'm going to also explain very soon. So you also have Hugging Face. Hugging Face is also a platform where you can find awesome models. So if I go to Hugging Face, right here, you'll see models that you can use right? There are thousands of data sets, there are thousands of models that you can go ahead to use for text translation, for text to speech, for TTS, text to speech, from text to image. There are models out there that you can use here for free. You can see image to image, text generation, image to text, text to image. If I click on text to image, for example, and I come here and I do sort by most download, you will see that the one that's basically trending right now is ST Turbo, Stable Diffusion, and the likes, right? So there are a lot of things that you can actually go ahead to explore also in Hugging Face. So yeah, so with that being said, let's go ahead to talk about RAG applications, right? Quickly. So RAG basically means retrieval augmented generation. What this does is basically a technique that is used for enhancing the accuracy and the readability of generative AI models with fact fetch from external source. Like I said before, if you want to go ahead to build your own application whereby your model can learn from your own docs, from your own PDF, from your own database, you actually need to build a RAG application. Sometimes you need to fine tune your model, but right now, we're talking about RAG applications. And how does it work, right? We have a user and we have a retriever, then we have this LLM that passes to LLM, right? So what happens is basically when a user prompts your chatbot, what happens in a nutshell is you already have like a te- a document that you've built that has your context, which you would have done the text splitter, you'd have done the document loader, you'd have done the vectorization, you'll have done you'll have saved it into a vector DB, and also when you now prompt your AI, it's not going to go ahead to fetch, then also retrieve relevant information right there. After it retrieve relevant information, then you pass it to a prompt context, then pass it to LLM, and you get the output, right? That's what basically RAG is all about. I will talk more about it when we are doing a detailed example. And now let's go into LangChain, right? I know you might have heard of LangChain before, but what is LangChain? LangChain is just like an open source framework, right, for building applications powered by large language model. And that was why I had to basically explain what large language model was for you guys before I dived into LangChain. And the reason I'm saying LangChain is because when you are doing document loader, when you are doing document splitter, you get to actually use some of these LangChain functions. And I'm going to also teach you everything once we get along, right? We also have Python. So this is like the LangChain ecosystem. Like from LangChain, we have LangServe, we have templates. You can just head over to LangChain just to know more about that. Right? So you can head over to LangChain to read more about the LangChain ecosystem and how it works, right? So this LangChain right here is basically widely used right now. Companies are using this to build scalable applications. So it's something that if you learn it, it's going to really add to your it's going to upskill you very well. Actually, you can see trusted by different companies. We have GitLab, Cloudflare, Monday, Workday, Elastic, LinkedIn, right? So you can actually go ahead to learn more about LangChain, but I'm just going to be scratching the basics with you guys today quickly. So you can see we also have LangGraph. So yeah, so that's that about LangChain. So let's go ahead. And yeah, this is the process for RAG applications, right? We have a gigantic data set where you are going to split it, right? You're going to split your text, and after you vectorize your DB, then you pass it to a base LLM, then you query your engine. Now the engine basically goes ahead to your document, then relieve relevant information, right? Then after you get your response and your feedback also. So this is just a basic idea of what LangChain is about, right? So now let's quickly dive into document loaders and text splitters, right? Because we need to really understand how to basically load document and how to split them one by one. I hope time is going to permit us to actually do this fully, because we still need to build our chatbots, right? So quickly, let's go ahead to do that so that we don't waste much of our time. And to do that, let me see. Okay, to do that, let's create a new folder right here also. And right here, I'm going to create it outside, right? Right here, we're going to name this folder document loaders, right? Now, to use this, I'm going to go ahead to create my virtual environment, right? So let me ask, does anyone know how to use virtual environment right here? Has anyone worked with virtual environment before? If you have done that, just drop a yes in the chat. Let me see. You know what virtual environment is, how to use it. You've done PEEP, like UV, anyone. If you have, drop a yes. If you haven't, just drop a no in the chat. Okay. So we have some no's and yes. Okay. So just follow along. I'm going to be like kind of fast with this, but just make sure that you follow me along with what I'm doing, right? So first, I'm going to be using UV. If you don't know what UV is, it's just a package environment. So just go to how to install UV, right? UV is actually very much faster than PEEP right now. So you can just come here and follow the documentation. If you're using Windows or whatever, just follow on how to use this right here. You can see Windows, Docker, whatever, right? One sec. So I'm going to create a new virtual environment, right? And I'm going to name it just sorry, I'll just say UV and I'll say VENV, right? So what's going to happen is just going to go ahead to create a new virtual environment. And the reason why we're doing this is because we don't want to tamper with our main virtual environment. Like I told you earlier on, we want to create a separate virtual environment for this course. So once I do this, it's going to go ahead towards create a virtual environment. And you can see currently it's showing base, right? So let me just deactivate this base. I'll say conda deactivate. And what I need to do is activate this virtual environment that we have here, VENV. So what I'm going to say right here is I'm just going to say source, right? And I'll say dot VENV. I'll do my bean, because if you come right here, you see we have bean and we have activate. For us to activate this, right? So I'll just go slash activate. And once I click enter, you can see right here we now have AI automation, which is the virtual environment that we just created. All right. So that's just how to do that. And for that also, we're going to be needing like some bunch of requirement.txt, right? So requirement.txt is just a file where you can put in the packages that you're going to use for your project, right? So I'm going to say requirement.txt, right? And the requirements we're going to be using is we're going to be using LangChain, right? We're going to be using OpenAI. We're going to be using Grok. Like I told you before, we're going to be using IPY kernel so that we can run Jupyter Notebook in our virtual environment. We're also going to need our LangChain community, right? We're also going to need PyPDF, PyPDF, which is what we're going to use for loading PDFs. We're going to also need Streamlit, right? So this is just the one that we're going to need for now. If we need any other one, I'm going to basically add it right here and install it again. So to basically install this requirement.txt right now, all I need to do is to say uv pip install, and I'll say -r requirement.txt. I'm going to wait for it to install our packages, right? So now inside this document loaders, I'm just going to come here to create a new file, right? And basically what we're going to be working with is we're going to be working with two different things. We're going to just learn how to load in documents, right? PDF and also text, right? So now let's create a new file right here. And I'm going to name this data underscore ingestion dot ipynb. Now take a note that everything I'm teaching you right here, you can also see it on my repo, right? So if you come here, once you just follow me, you're going to be seeing this update, right? So just come here and follow me basically. So when you come here, scroll down to you see LangChain Basics, right? So click on LangChain Basics. You can see it has like over 9 stars. You can see data ingestion, which we're going to be covering, and this is what we're going to be doing basically, right? So everything that we are doing is actually documented. And if you want to go through it, just come here and go through it, right? It's something you can understand pretty much, right? So now let's continue so that we don't get so carried away. So first, I'm going to teach you how to install just a normal text. So we have this speech text. Hi, my name is David, and I'm excited to be a tutor in this program. Blah blah blah. So let's just go ahead to look at how we can read this in. That's document loaders, right? So now I'm going to select my kernel. My kernel is going to be what? Um, Python environment. I'm going to pick what? AI automation, because this is the environment that we install it in, right? So right here, for you to actually load text, you need to use the text loader from LangChain, right? So I'm going to say from LangChain underscore community, right? Then dot document loaders. I'm import, going to import text loader, right? I'm going to run this cell, and we should not have any error if everything is working fine. Good. So now for us to load our text, so loading our text, all we need to do is to say create a variable, right? Remember how I taught you how to create a variable. So loader is equals to text loader, and into brackets I'm going to put in the place where my equals to where my text loader is located actually, right? And my text loader, I want to read in this text, speech.txt. So I'm just going to go back step into data, right? Slash, I'm going to read in speech.txt, and I'm going to go ahead to run this cell. Text loader is not defined. You know what? Let's see. Sorry, LOADER. LOA. That's what I'm writing right here. Okay, good. So now if I go ahead to now run my load after assigning it to a text loader, then I have to actually create another variable again, text underscore document, to basically load it in. So I'm just going to say loader dot load, right? And once I run this, I now print out what I have in text document. So let me just don't let me put context right here. So once I print this out, you will see that it's returned a list, right, of everything that I have in my text, right? So whenever you want to build a RAG application, this is the first step that you need to do. You need to know how to read in your data sets. And your data set can come in different formats. It can come in text, it can come in PDFs, whatsoever it comes in, you need to actually know how to load that in, right? Also, you can actually print out the page context only if you want to do that by just saying text document, then the page content, and you have your output instead of you having this source and whatsoever, right? So it does put the index number. Remember, I told you how to print out index number, and that's why Python fundamental is actually very important. If you don't understand Python fundamentals very well, there might be issue when you are coming to actually do all of this, right? So that's how you can go ahead to actually load text. So let's look at how we can actually load documents. If you want to load document also, so let's load PDFs. So I'm going to say from LangChain community.document loaders import PyPDF, right? And we're just going to load. I'm going to say my loader again is equals to PyPDF, right? And right here, I'm going to put in the path. So it's in data slash what? Gen AI assignments.pdf. And what do I have to do after loading it? Afterwards, after assigning it to a variable, afterwards, load it. So I'm just going to say my docs is equals to what? Loader dot load, right? So after that, we can view what we have in our docs, and you can see we have what our documents right here, which is the content of what we have in the PDF, right? So you can see page one, this is page one, page two, this is page two, and if you open the document, you see that that's what we have, right? This is just a format of PDF, right? So let me see if I can relative part and just show you what we have right there. Sorry, let me copy the parts. So I'll load this for you guys. So this is what we have in the document, right? This is what we have in the document that I just loaded. Um, right. So yeah. So this is the tool I'm going to be telling you guys about because of our time. You can check out more ways to load documents from the repo right here, because you can load through Wikipedia, you can load content through Wikipedia. It's also the same thing, very simple and straightforward, right? So now let's go into text splitters. So let's create another folder right here, and right here I'm going to name it what, um, text splitter. Right, so just explore different ways you can load it, and let's name it right here, new file right here, we'll say text splitter.txt, sorry, .ipymb. Yes, very good. So let's look at how we can do text splitter, right? So I'm going to copy the same data that I have right here. I'm going to paste it right here also in the text splitter, so that we can use that as example. So basically, when you want to split your text, you need to actually do the same thing. So for example, if I want to read in, I'm going to also read in my, sorry, let's select our kernel by using AI automation. So same thing that we did before, right? If you want to load in document, we load it first. Don't forget, so let me see. What do we have here? File. Okay, let's correct this part. This part is not correct. So it's dot/data/general PDF, right? Very good. So same thing on how we load it. If you check our docs, just the same thing like how we load these docs, right? And that's why it's very important to know the steps. So first, you need to load your documents. After loading it, you need to split it, right? Because you need to turn it into smaller chunks. When you are trying to train your large language model, you can't just pass in all the data at once. You need to split it into smaller chunks. All right. And don't worry if you do not really understand right now. It's just the basics, right? Once we start building RAG applications, you see the usefulness of why we are doing all of this, right? So there's something that's also called recursive character text splitter. Um, and how do we do that? We can say from lang chain, yes, from lang chain dot text splitter, we can import recursive character text splitter. And what we can do is we can specify how we want to split our talk. So let's load this first to see if it's working fine. Let's run this cell again. Let's see. So it's like we're having error that we've not installed the the text splitter. So what we can do is you can go to our requirements and install text splitter. So I'll say lang chain dash text dash splitters. Right. I think we need to install text splitters, right? And let's go ahead to run our uv pip install requirement.txt. Okay, very good. And let's go back to our text splitter again. So let's wait for it to load. Wait for it to load. One sec. My laptop is still loading. All right, but let's continue. Once you run, we're going to see a success message right here. But let me just quickly refresh this, reload Windows quickly, and let's select it again. Let's select our kernel. I'm going to select Python environment, Python environment. Let's select our AI automation, right? All right, very good. Now let's load this again. Okay, works fine. Our docs, good. Okay, now we're saying no module named langchain community.text splitter. So let's see if this installed again. Mm, Go back to our requirement.txt. Let's check if we're spelling the name correctly. Langchain dash text dash splitters. Yes, it's very good. So let's run it again. Let's go back again to our text splitter. Make sure we have selected the AI automation, and let's run it again. Okay, so it's saying import recursive character text splitter. Are we importing it the wrong way? So let's see. Um, okay, I've seen the issue. Now the issue is because we are saying text splitter. It's supposed to be text splitters, right? Let's see. Oh, that's not the issue. But let's see dots from langchain. Oh, okay, good, good. So because we are using text splitter, that means we need to import from langchain text splitters. Sorry. So let's do that again, guys. So I'm going to say from langchain underscore text splitters. Very good. Very good. So we should have this working now. All right. Yes. So now let's go ahead to reading the final doc. So let's just say our final underscore doc, right, to be equals to text splitter splitter dot split document by docs. Um, so let's see from we need to define our text splitter first. So let's say our text underscore splitter, right, to be equals to text splitter. Sorry, we're gonna say text underscore splitter equals to our recursive character text splitter that we did right here. And right here, yes, exactly. We need to pass in what we want to split our documents by, right? So we want to split our documents by the chunk, right? So passing the chunk size. That means how many, like by how many pages, by how many lines do you want to split our document from? And if you overwrite here, you will see that you also have the documentation of what is about, right? So you can see the chunk size, which takes in a number, and the chunk overlap is just like if I split it by 1,000 line, how do I want it to actually go back to actually have like last memory of what was splitted by the last chunk? So that's why we have chunk overlap right here. So if I run this right now and we run our final document of split, this should work fine. And if you check out our final doc right now, you would see that instead of us having everything right in just one um in just one PDF, it's going to go ahead to actually split this for us, right? And you can see now it now has the let me go to the end so you see what I'm talking about. All right. So now you can see now you now have title, trapped, false, subject. That's the title also. So basically, what it's doing is it has gone ahead, and you can see the type is what PDF text. This is the format of of PDF, right? So what it has done is it has gone ahead to actually split the documents for us, right? So it's the same process. Each one also split text. Same thing. Just follow the process that I actually did here. You actually get everything correctly, right? But don't let us bore ourselves with this right now because we're still going to build an end-to-end rock application system, right? But what I want us to do now is I want us to go ahead to focus on our chatbot that we're going to be building. So that's just a brief introduction about document splitters and document loaders also, right? So what we're going to be using is we're going to be using GPT series. And if you don't know what GPT series is, GPT means generative pre-trained transformer. and we all know that that's the architecture that ChatGPT was built on. It's very, very popular out there. So, what do we need to know about GPT series, right? First, we need to understand what APIs are. But I already explained what APIs are, so I'm just quickly going to brush through this because of our time. So you have your application customer to your waiter to your kitchen server also, and what it does is when you request to open the API, right? It sends the request to the database and retrieve your relevant information, then pass you back the response, right? And that's what we're going to be doing also. So OpenAI Python API is like ChatGPT, right? But with Python, you need to use Python to actually use this. And the reason why we need to use API, OpenAI API, is because it's fully customizable. We can build this from scratch by ourselves. You can adjust our input parameters, which I'm going to be showing you how to do. You can process images and other file types. You can extract helpful word embedding from downstream tags, input audio for transcription, and also model fine-tuning functionality. So let's head over to OpenAI API so that you will see what I'm talking about, right? So if I search for, right, you will see what I'm talking about. So we have the API platform, and this is not free actually. It's actually paid for, right? So pricing starts from as low as I think $5 or whatever. It depends on the amount you want to basically deposit, right? But let me show you something quickly. The API platform. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to really go through this API platform because companies are actually using OpenAI nowadays to build scalable products that's actually scaled for them. So if you want to know how to use ChatGPT also very well, just go to the documentation. We have different models, which I'm going to teach you how to use. You see, we have GPT 5.1, the latest one. Um, we have Sora Pro, we have O3 Deep Research, and the likes, right? There are a lot of models that we can use. We have the O3, GPT 4.1, 4.1 Nano, and the likes, right? So let's go to the documentation. If you want to use the API, it's very simple, right? If you want to create a text generation, for example, we're going with Python right now. So with Python, we'll just install the library. After we install the library, we call in the client, pass in the model name, and write our output, right? So you can go ahead to do this. If you want to, you have to actually use card to actually pay for that, right? But if you don't want to use OpenAI, you don't have the money to pay, you can also go to Grok, right? Grok, you can also create a free account, free API key. You can see it right here. And basically, what this allows you to do is, it allows you to, you can see I've created my different API keys right here. I've played around with it and it really makes sense. You can create your own API key for free without doing anything, right? You can see how to use Grok platform also, but I'm going to teach you how to use this while we are building our chatbots. We have like less than 20 minutes left. So let's quickly just go ahead to continue, right? So with that being said, we've understand what ChatGPT is. Don't forget, you need to create an account, add your payment method, set your usage limit if you want to, then generate your secret key. So if you want to get your secret key in ChatGPT, pretty much just go to your profile, right? Once you come to your profile, just click on API keys. And from here, you can see I've used this very well for different projects, right? You can just come here and create a new secret API key. Once you create that, copy it and save it somewhere. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead to build our chatbot right now. So right here, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to name it chatbot. So I'm going to create it outside. Yeah, I'm going to name it, sorry, good. I'm going to name it chatbot.py. So this is what we're going to be building actually. We're going to be building something like this, right? It's not something simple as ABC like this, right? Nothing that complex, right? So you guys should relax your mind and just pay attention. So if you have not been paying attention since, make sure you look at what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to explain it step by step for you, right? So now, to create a chatbot, we're going to be using Streamlit, right? Also, you can check Streamlit out. Streamlit is just like a platform that allows you to create front-end application, right? Create front-end applications without you writing HTML or CSS. Have you guys used Streamlit before? If you have, just drop a yes in the chat so I can know you're following me. If you have used Streamlit before, just drop a yes. If not, just say no in the chat. All right. So yeah, let's start building our chatbot. And oh, somebody said yes. Yes, very good. Okay. You guys are very, very sharp. Nice. I like this. Don't forget, we already have our OpenAI installed and Grok, right? Very important. So that was why I installed OpenAI, I installed Grok. So we're going to import those libraries that we need. So we'll say, sorry, from Grok, import, and we'll import OpenAI. We'll say from OpenAI, import. Very good. Now, we need to create our system prompt, right? And basically, what this system prompt will be is system prompt will be what we are going to pass to our prompt so that it understands that we are a chatbot, right? So we'll just say you are a helpful assistant, and we'll just say answer the user's question carefully and concisely. Very good. So basically, what this system prompt helps us to do is no sound. Can you guys hear me, please? Kindly confirm if you can hear me, please. Okay, good, good. Um,
Yeah, I can hear you.
all right, thank you very much. So, yeah, so our system prompt is going to tell the chatbot that okay, this system is a helpful prompt that basically answers the user. And use I can just say right here, I can say assistant built by one dev, basically, right? And you see what's going to happen. So, by one dev, concisely. We can also add like okay, let's say Odset, and we can say, or let's just stop here for now, shall let's stop here for now. Let's go ahead to also create our provider model, provider underscore models, right? And this I'm going to create a dictionary for this, right? And I already have some models right here that I've seen that Grok has. So if you go to OpenAI, like I showed you before, so let me go back quickly. So these models right here, like I showed you, we have different models, right? And same thing for Grok. We also have models that you can use, developers, like docs. So in the documentation also, you will see different models that you can use from Grok, right? You can see you can use this model. You can just click on models to see everything that you can use from Grok. So what I will do is I already have these models right here. You can see we have Llama. I'm going to be using Llama, and also I'm going to be using Quen, right? So I can just come here and then just paste the models that I got from this website, right? So this is where I got all the models from. You can see right here for OpenAI we have GPT-4o, 4o mini, and the likes, and for Grok we have Llama 3, like what you can see right here. What you can see right, Llama 3, and that's what I'm using basically, right? Don't forget, Grok is free while OpenAI is paid for. So whatever one you want to use, you can go ahead to use that, right? So now I'm going to create a function, a function, right? Create a function to generate a response, right? So right here, I'm going to say dev, right? I'm going to say generate underscore response. You know what? functions are, right? And right here, generate response. And right here, I'm going to pass in my question, which will be in string. I'm also going to pass in my API key, because the user has to put into our API key before you can ask question, right? I'll pass in the provider, which is a string also, model, the string. And right here, I'm just going to say, okay, after I've collected that, I'm just going to say, okay, call the selected provider API to generate a response, right? And right here, I'm going to create a message. I'll say message is equals to, and right here I'll put role. Now this role is going to be our what? System prompt, which is what we're going to pass in with whatever question that the user asks, right? So for example, if the user asks, what is your name? It's going to pass in a prompt that you are an helpful assistant built by one dev. Answer the user's question carefully and concisely. What is your name? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So that's why we have system prompts right there. And the role is what? System. Role for the user question is what? User. Very good. So now I'm not going to say, okay, if the provider is OpenAI, don't forget we can only have OpenAI and Grok. If the provider is OpenAI, I'm going to say my client will be equals to OpenAI API key, passing the API key, which is what the user is going to enter. And I will say my response is equals to what? Client.chatCompletion.create model, which is the model name that the user is going to pick, which is GPT-4o or whatsoever the user picks. And same thing for temperature. Temperature is just how the model is just being the way it's going to answer the question very well, basically, right? So it ranges from 0 to 1. Do you get? So I'm not going to hit tab, and I'm going to return the response choice. This one is just going to destructure the response I'm getting from the chatbot. All right. And next, I'm also going to check if the provider is Grok. I'm going to do the same thing also, right? Passing the API key. Then we're going to say the model is the model name, message, temperature, same thing. Now we're going to return what? Choice, message, then content. And here we could just say dot strip. So we can pass in dot strip for year and also same thing for year, right? Okay. So now that we've done that, we can now go ahead to, in case we have any error, we can raise the value error, right? We just say unknown provider in case anything just happens. And yeah, what we can now do is, since we now have our model, so let me just explain quickly again. So what we're doing right here is we are creating a function to generate the model response. It's going to take in the prompts that we created. Then if it's OpenAI, do this. If it's Grok, do this, right? So now what we can do right now is we can now create our title. So streamlit.title, and we can name it AI chatbot. All right. If you want to run the Streamlit application, we can do Streamlit, SRE, Streamlit run chatbot.py. And if we run this, you will see that we already have this already coming in place step by step. And we should have AI chatbots right there. So that's what this st.title does for us. All right. So now after creating st.title, we'll now create our sidebar, right? So we'll say st.sidebar, and this sidebar, we'll call it settings, because we want to allow the user to be able to, sorry, so let me come here and refresh. So you can see this settings right here. You can see how easy it is to use Streamlit, right? And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to be able to actually allow the user to select a model that he or she wants to use.